Hi everyone, today I'm going to review the Huion Kamvas 13 pen display. So this is a review unit that was sent to me from Huion. This video is going to be a bit long, so if you want to save time, you can check out the link in the video description below to my text review. And there are also links to the timestamps where you can jump to different sections of this video, and also links to other Huion products that I have reviewed. So Huion, they make a lot of tablets and pen displays. Let's see what we have inside the box. So it looks like everything is very well packaged. Let me just unwrap everything very quickly to save time. This pen display is currently priced at US $239. Let's see what we have here. This is a contest entry card, the thank you card with the customer service email. There is a 1-year warranty with this product, and this is the instruction on how you can deploy the stand. The stand is actually not included and is sold separately. This is an extra US $25. You can choose to buy this, or you can buy a stand from other companies. Having a stand is going to make it more comfortable to draw on the pen display. So we have 4 rubber feet at the 4 corners. This is plastic on the back. 2 big pieces of rubber here to prevent the pen display from moving around when you put it here. And this is the latch that prevents the pen display from dropping down. Let's open this up. So here there are 2 pieces of metal for deploying the stand, and this is the highest angle, and there are different positions here. So with this you can have 3 positions, and with the shorter support there are also 3 positions. So this is the lowest angle. This is the 3-to-1 cable that's included. So on this side here we have full-size HDMI, and this is USB for data. This is USB for power, as identified by the red color. There is also an extension cord provided for the power. And on the other side of this cable, this looks like USB-C. This will go to the pen display. There is no power adapter included, so you can probably use the USB charger for your phone or power the pen display using the USB ports on your computer. Now, I found out on the website that there is this USB-C to C cable that's sold separately that can be used with this pen display. So if you are using a computer with USB-C, you can connect the pen display to your computer using that single cable rather than using this cable with 3 heads. In this plastic bag here, we have a microfiber cleaning cloth, a card that shows you where you can download the driver, the instruction manual, and we have an artist glove inside, as well as an additional artist glove here. The pen stand and the pen, they look quite well built. They are very solid. So with the pen stand, you can put the pen vertically or horizontally like this. Let's see what's inside the stand. There are 10 replacement nibs, and that's the nib remover. This pen looks nice. It supports up to slightly over 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. There is no battery inside, so you don't have to charge it. There is no eraser button at the back. The grip here is one big piece of rubber. It's quite comfortable to hold. The 2 side buttons, they have firm feedback, and the nib here, there is slight movement, which is common to all such styluses. So this is the Huion Kamvas 13 pen display. A pen display is basically a monitor that you can draw on. This is very thin, like a tablet, but it's not a tablet. So there is no computer inside. There is no battery inside. To use this, you have to connect this to a computer using the cable provided. Says here that the anti-glare film has already been installed, so this glossy surface is actually the screen protector for the matte screen protector, and this is to help you peel off the screen protector. The sticker on the other side tells you what these 2 ports are. This is for the USB-C port, and this is the port for the 3-in-1 cable that you saw earlier. So we are supposed to peel off the screen protector for the matte screen protector. Oops. This sticker was not attached strong enough to the surface, so let me use my own tape. Right, so now we can see the screen protector being peeled off, and make sure that this surface is the matte surface screen protector and it's not glossy or reflective. If it's glossy or reflective, that means you have peeled off the matte surface as well. Overall build quality seems very solid. By the way, this pen display actually comes in 3 colors. This is one of the 3. You can check out the other colors on Huion's website. So we have 4 rubber feet on the back to prevent the display from moving around on the table, and they work great. The design is very beautiful. I like the round corners and it's matte texture throughout. Here it's matte as well, including the drawing surface. The power button is here at the top left, and these are the 8 physical shortcut buttons on the side there. The buttons here, they have nice firm feedback. I've just connected the pen display to my laptop, which is running Windows 10. I was able to connect using the HDMI and the USB data cable. I did not need to use the USB power because the USB port on my laptop, it's providing enough power to power the pen display. But if your USB port doesn't have enough power, then you will need to use external power source. One thing I noticed straight away as I power on the pen display is the brightness is not as bright compared to the laptop. To adjust the brightness, you can go into the OSD menu, the on-screen display menu, by pressing and holding down the 2 side buttons here. These are the things you can adjust: backlight, brightness, contrast, and sharpness. I'm not sure what the backlight is because it also controls the brightness. So here we have panel uniformity, gamma, temperature, color effect, aspect ratio. I'm not sure what this is. You can check out the online manual, which is available on Huion's website. And these are some settings for the display. And this is 1080p at 60 Hz. Huion rated the maximum brightness at 220 nits. I measured 178. After adjusting the brightness, the 2 displays are now more comparable. And you can press and hold these 2 buttons to make the OSD menu disappear. So this brightness is definitely good enough for indoor use. I measured 100% sRGB support, 86% Adobe RGB, 81% NTSC, and 90% P3. So color accuracy on this display is actually quite good. So this is how the anti-glare surface, the matte surface, looks when light is reflected off the surface, and it will create this white haze. Viewing angles are good. The colors, they don't shift much. Oh, this is a 1080p 13.3-inch display. The matte surface screen protector is a bit grainy, so it's going to make the display look a bit grainy as well, on top of the pixelation you get with the 1080p resolution, but it's not really a big deal for me. Let's see what you can do with the driver. This is the Windows driver version 14.8.95. I have also tested the Mac driver. Both drivers are from the 7th of January 2020, and functionality for Mac and Windows driver is essentially the same, except with Windows driver there is the Windows Ink function, which you may have to toggle on and off if there are any issues with pressure sensitivity. Okay, so this is where you can customize the 8 physical shortcut buttons on the side. So you can have specific keyboard shortcuts, you can assign mouse functions, you can also have these 2 functions here: switch display or switch screen, which allows you to move the cursor from one display to another if you are using more than one display. However, currently with the Windows driver, this functionality for switch screen, it doesn't work that well. Let me show you what I mean. So I have enlarged the cursor so that you can see it. Now the cursor is following the pen on the pen display. So as I click this button here, I have assigned switch screen to this button. it will now switch to this mode, which is the so-called computer mouse mode. So if you use a mouse, you can control the cursor across two display. This is actually something that I do not want. I want it to jump from this screen to the other, either one or the other, not on both. So as I click the button again, so now I can control the cursor on the other screen. So this is actually what I want when I click the button, not the mouse mode. So as I click the button again, it jumps back. One more time, it goes into mouse mode, and one more time, it jumps to the other screen. So the extra mode in between, that's not needed. Hopefully Huion can come up with a driver fix to fix that problem, because on Mac OS, it works perfectly. The cursor will jump from here to there and back to here. And there is a switch brush, which will toggle between eraser and brush for certain drawing programs. And you can also use the physical shortcut buttons to launch programs. So this is where you can customize the two side buttons to various keyboard shortcuts or mouse functions. And the pressure curve here can be adjusted manually, but you cannot plot extra points on the curve. And this is the Windows Ink function, and there is this game mode, which I'm not sure what it is. So this is the mapping area. By default, the whole display, the whole pen display will be mapped onto your desktop. And I'm not sure you can change anything here, but if you are a left-handed user, you can actually choose to rotate the pen display here. Monitor calibration is actually not required because this is a laminated display, so there is no gap between the drawing surface and the IPS LCD behind, so there is no parallax. And by default, the cursor always appears directly beneath the pen tip, so there is no need to calibrate the display. And now let's talk about drawing performance. Overall drawing performance is quite good on Windows and Mac OS, except on Mac OS with Photoshop there are some quirks which I'm going to show you later on. So the initial activation force is very light. This is a very sensitive pen, so I can use very minimal pressure and draw very thin lines like this. And it's also able to maintain the pressure quite well, so I don't get things like this, which is great because this is really sensitive and accurate. Lines taper very nicely, very gradually, and the transition from thin to thick, it's very smooth. And when the lines turn, there is no angular jitter, so line performance is very consistent, very predictable. Since this is a laminated display, there is no gap between the drawing surface and the LCD beneath. So when you're drawing on the display, it really looks like the lines are appearing beneath the pen tip. Any gap that you see is actually the thickness of the glass. I'm not sure if you hear it earlier, but this matte screen protector has a lot of texture. So as I was writing those letters, I'm not sure if you can hear the sound the screen protector makes. Let me put this mic closer to the screen. So you can actually hear the screen protector. You can almost hear the texture. The tactile experience of this matte drawing surface is 5 out of 5 stars. Now the main difference between the Kamvas 13 and the Kamvas Pro 13 is with the Pro, you're actually drawing on a matte glass surface. For the Kamvas 13, this is a matte screen protector, so that's the difference, which explains the much higher price for the Pro 13. But in terms of value for money, this Kamvas 13, I think it's definitely more value for money considering the price. And overall drawing performance with most of the apps that I've tested, it's very smooth, very responsive, except for Photoshop on both Windows and Mac, where there is the lag, the usual Photoshop lag. Let me show you the usual Photoshop lag, but first let me increase the brush size. So the buttons on the side, they work very well. So that's the usual Photoshop lag. If you don't draw that fast, the Photoshop lag, it's really not that noticeable. With the other apps that I have tested, like Krita, Medibank Paint Pro, Clip Studio, Illustrator, Affinity Photo, performance is very responsive. And dots work well too. This is Krita. I just want to show you tilt sensitivity. So pay attention to the shape of the cursor as I move my pen. So the cursor actually follows the direction of the pen. So tilt works pretty well. Let me show you the problem that I have with Photoshop on Mac OS. I'm going to see if I can reproduce the problem today. Okay, so see what happened just now. The brush tool is actually still engaged, but for some reason now it's the move tool, even though the brush tool is still engaged. Another problem that I have is when I'm using the brush tool and I press the alternate button to go into the eyedropper tool, nothing happens. I just press the button and nothing happens. I just pressed it again and nothing happens. Okay, now it goes into the eyedropper tool, but as I release the button, the brush tool doesn't come back. So that's the second issue that I have. And sometimes when I'm using the brush, it will change into the selection tool instead of the move tool automatically, again without my knowledge. So this problem happens randomly and it's very frustrating when it happens. The workaround for the eyedropper problem is to press letter I to get into the eyedropper, and then to paint with the brush again, press B. So it's a bit more inconvenient. Thankfully, this problem, it doesn't happen with Windows. Alright, to conclude, let me just read to you what I have written on my text review. So the Huion Kamvas 13, it's a well-designed pen display. It looks good. Build quality seems to be quite solid. I'm not sure how durable or how long-lasting this product will be, because usually for review units I'm not able to test them long-term. But Huion is a company that has been around for a very long time. They have made a lot of tablets and pen displays, so durability shouldn't be much of a concern. Anyway, this product is backed by a 1-year warranty. And if you do want additional warranty on top of that, you can purchase the pen display on Huion's website. So for additional 6 months of warranty, that's $80 US, and for an additional 1-year warranty, that's $150 US. Okay, the two potential deal breakers for me would be, for Windows user, there is this bug with the display switch functionality, and for Mac users there is these quirky issues with Photoshop that I showed you earlier. Here's the pros and cons list that I have for all the products that I review actually. So if you want to compare pen displays, you can actually just compare the pros and cons list. So let's see what I have missed out. Alright, color support for this pen display is really good, 100% sRGB support, and the matte screen protector, it's really nice to draw on. The texture is really nice. And even after using this pen display for hours, it doesn't feel warm, so you can definitely draw on this for long periods of time without your hand or palm sweating, or you can just use the artist glove that's included. Another pro is, of course, the very extremely affordable price of US $239. When I first saw the price, I was actually quite surprised and shocked. I was wondering if there's any catch, but I don't think there's any catch other than the issues with the drivers. Cons: the stand is sold separately, it's not included, so that's an extra US $25. Two other cons here, the driver issues. Alright, so overall I would say this is a pretty good product, and when you consider the price, it's really worth the money. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions regarding this, let me know in the comment section below. And if you have experience with other Huion products before, I would love to hear from you regarding how durable the tablets or pen displays are. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is helpful. See you guys in the next video. Bye.